back to the Gridiron Expert. This right here, this is why I love college football. What a wild AP poll heading into week 3 of the college football season, guys. A wild AP poll that we are about to break down for you right now. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes signing up for our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, our analysis for both college and NFL comes out every single Wednesday. Do not miss out on those picks. Sign up for those today. It's a full year-long subscription. It's going to be one of the best decisions you make all season long. So make sure to go do that down in the description below. And again, guys, we cannot thank you enough for all the support so far this season. And guys, really, it's just getting started. So let's take a look at this AP poll, guys. A week 2 that showed 5 ranked teams going down. 5 ranked teams lost in week 2. 2 of them coming in ranked versus ranked matchups, Ohio State and Oregon, and of course Iowa and Iowa State. 3 other top 25 teams losing to unranked teams. All 3 of those teams in USC, Texas, and Utah all dropping out of the top 25 this weekend. So again, you look at this poll, it's wild. This is one of the crazier polls that we've seen in a long time, and it's crazy in a good way. We're finally seeing some parity in college football, guys. It's going to be a very, very fun season if you haven't figured that out already after the first 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and break it all down for you real quick, touching on just about every team here. I can say, and I think you can all agree, that the top 3 is undisputed. Alabama at 1, Georgia at 2, Oklahoma at 3. Those are the top 3 teams in the country as of right now, and that is the exact order they should be in. That is the exact order they should be in until proven otherwise. So the top 3, all good. All 3 of those teams taking care of their cupcake opponents in week 2. After that, that's where it gets wild. That's where it gets fun. Oregon, the Ducks, in at number 4 in the country after their upset over Ohio State. The Ducks were a 14-point underdog on the road, had never defeated Ohio State. The Buckeyes were riding a 23 home game winning streak. And then Oregon walks in there and says, not so fast. We're going to rush for over 250 yards on you. Win that game 35-28 and jump from 12th in the country to 4th in the country. Unreal game, unreal performance by Mario Cristobal in Oregon. This spot, very well deserved. And guys, I'm telling you, the Ducks are legitimate Pac-12, obviously no Pac-12, but absolute college football playoff contenders in 2021. Their ranking shows it. This is about where they would be ranked, I feel, if the playoff committee were ranking teams right now. If Oregon can run the table in the Pac-12, and after seeing the state of the conference, that is very possible, the Ducks will be in the college football playoff. They are the heavy favorite of that conference for a reason. Right after Oregon, Iowa. How about the Hawkeyes in at number 5, jumping from 10th to 5th after their 10-point victory at Iowa State, who at the time was number 9 in the country. The Hawkeyes defense was unreal again, forcing 4 turnovers against the Cyclones. 1 week after forcing 3 turnovers against Indiana. They had 2 defensive touchdowns against the Hoosiers. They had another defensive touchdown against the Cyclones. This Iowa team, guys, is for real. They don't have to put up the electric, big-time offensive numbers because their defense is handling it. One of the best defenses in the country for one of the best teams in the country. Iowa is the highest-ranked Big Ten team in the top 25 right now. And after seeing Ohio State, how bad their rushing defense is, how bad the defense as a whole is, Iowa might be the team to beat in the Big Ten and not the Buckeyes. Keep an eye out on that. After Iowa, Clemson, they took care of their cupcake opponent. They are at 6, where they were just last week. Texas A&M is down 2 spots from 5th to 7th after narrowly defeating Colorado. Defeated the Buffaloes 10-7. The big storyline there, though, is not the fact they narrowly escaped the Buffaloes, but the fact they lost their quarterback in Haynes King. How long he stays out, how long he will be out, will really affect Texas A&M and their playoff hopes. Because I'm telling you, if Haynes King is out for the year with a broken ankle, like many believe he might have, then Texas A&M will not make the college football playoff. It's not going to happen. They will not beat Alabama, and they will drop another game or 2 to an SEC opponent. Haynes King health is paramount for Texas A&M and their really entire season. They're still a top 10 team. Their defense is still fantastic. They still have a solid rushing game. But the defense and the rushing game are something they're going to have to lean on more heavily than they were expecting to if King is out longer than we expect. So A&M in at 7th, down 2. Cincinnati in at number 8. Big time game at Indiana this week in week 3. That's a game that, yes, where the Hoosiers are not a top 20 team that we thought they might be at this time, But if Cincinnati were to go on the road and take down the Hoosiers, that would do wonders for their playoff resume. Because the very next week, or 2 weeks after, Cincinnati takes on Notre Dame. Potential top 10 showdown. Cincinnati needs to win both of those to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Indiana game is winnable. The Bearcats in at 8th. Ohio State dropping from 3rd to 9th following their loss to Oregon, like we just mentioned. That Ohio State defense needs a lot of work. C.J. Stroud threw for nearly 500 yards. It's not enough if your defense can't get off the field, if your defense can't force stops, if your defense can't stop the run like they were unable to against Minnesota, like they were unable to against Oregon. So the Buckeyes in at 9, right above Penn State. And these two teams, guys, will face each other obviously later in the year in Columbus. That game could very well determine who wins the Big Ten East and maybe faces Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. So 9 and 10 for Ohio State and Penn State. Penn State, the Nittany Lions, bouncing back in a big way, defeated Wisconsin, defeated Ball State. Week 3, they host Auburn for their whiteout game, the source and the site of College Game Day. We'll have extra analysis on that later on this week. But we've got number 10 Penn State taking on number 22 Auburn on Saturday night in Happy Valley. So there's your top 10, guys. It's wild. I mean, really, what intrigues me the most is these three right here: Oregon, Iowa, Clemson. Clemson in at 6, behind the likes of Oregon and Iowa. A lot's going to change over the next few weeks, but something to keep your eye on. Clemson's strength of schedule not nearly as difficult as Iowa's. Oregon certainly not as difficult as Iowa. So you might see some jumps, even if these teams continue to win. Depending on who they beat, their quality of their win, the margin of victory, you might see some of these teams start to swap spots even if no one loses. So keep an eye out on that as we progress through the rest of the season and obviously as we get into conference play. Second column over here, Florida in at number 11. They took down South Florida. $1 million question is, who's their quarterback? It seems like everybody wants Anthony Richardson. Is he going to be the guy against Alabama on Saturday? Florida, 11th in the country, hosts number 1 Alabama in the Swamp Saturday afternoon. Dan Mullen says no, it's going to be Emory Jones. But Anthony Richardson seems to be doing a lot better and might give the Gators the best chance to win in that game. So keep an eye out on that. We'll, of course, have analysis between the Crimson Tide and the Gators later on this week as well. Florida in at 11. Notre Dame in at 12, down 4 spots. They were a top 10 team last week, but barely beat Toledo, beat them 32-29 in South Bend, dropped 4 spots after that narrow victory, down to number 12. Again, not this week, but the next week they play Wisconsin in Chicago, and that could be the game that gets Notre Dame back into the top 10 and solidifies themselves as a true playoff contender. Not to say they still aren't. We've seen Notre Dame struggle against mediocre opponents before a couple of years ago, Ball State, Vanderbilt, guys like that. Notre Dame's still a solid team, but not top 10 caliber at the moment. UCLA, though, they're knocking on the door, up at 13th. Chip Kelly doing some phenomenal things with the Bruins, guys. It could very well be a Oregon versus UCLA Pac-12 championship game. Keep in mind, these two teams will meet later on, I believe, in October, and that could be a top 10 Pac-12 showdown, something I can't remember the last time we had something like that within that conference. So keep an eye out for the Bruins, guys. They are the real deal. Chip Kelly working wonders out in LA, better than their counterpart in USC. Iowa State in at number 14. They dropped 5 after their loss to Iowa, falling to the Hawkeyes 27-17. To me, a game where the score looks better for Iowa State than the game really was, because the Cyclones were getting murdered in that game. They could not move the ball. Brock Purdy was turning the ball over left and right. Only losing by 10 seems like a blessing. The Cyclones, though, still Big 12 title contenders. In a way, still playoff contenders if they can somehow win out, but that would include a win at Oklahoma. Playoff not seeming as likely as maybe a New Year's Six bowl game after that loss to Iowa. Still a lot of work to do in Ames. And at 15, Virginia Tech. They took down Middle Tennessee State. One thing you want to watch out for, though, for the Hokies is they travel to West Virginia on Saturday. That is a trap game if I've ever seen one. Watch out for the Mountaineers potentially upsetting the Hokies, top 15 team. That's going to be a sneaky good one on Saturday. Coastal Carolina in at 16 took down Kansas for the 3rd year in a row in week 2. So the Chanticleers continuing to do their thing, continuing to pound the ball. Grayson McCall doing great things. Jamie Chadwell, again, one of the best coaches, not just in the Sun Belt, but in the country, has his team right outside the top 15. Ole Miss in at 17, taking care of business easily this weekend. Matt Corral still looking like maybe the best quarterback in the country. Wisconsin in at 18. Arizona State in at 19. Started slow against UNLV, battled back, won that game. Intriguing matchup on Saturday again as Arizona State travels to Provo to take on number 23 BYU, who just cracked the top 25. We'll touch on that in a second. We're going to talk about some of the top 25 matchups we have coming up at the end of this video, and obviously tomorrow in our Week 3 predictions video, so do not miss out on that. But Arizona State, Forget those recruiting violations. Haven't heard anything on that in a while. This team has their eyes set on a Pac-12 South title. They can get it. There's one team that's better than them right now, and it's UCLA. In at number 20, how about Arkansas? The Razorbacks making their first top 25 appearance since 2016. It has been 5 years since Arkansas made an appearance in the top 25 poll. That was back in the Brett Bielema days. Now Sam Pittman has them at 20th, a top 20 team after coaching the Hogs for just 12 games. Coached 10 games last year, went 3-7. They're 2-0 this year with a 40-21 victory over Texas just this last Saturday. The Hogs rushed for 333 rushing yards, booted Texas out of the top 25. Many want to boot them out of the SEC. Arkansas in at 20th should take care of Georgia Southern this Saturday, which means it will set up a top 20 showdown against Texas A&M in Dallas in Week 4. North Carolina rounding out, as we get into this last column here, North Carolina in at 21st, rose a few spots after a big win over Georgia State. Sam Howell looked a little bit better after a horrible performance against Virginia Tech. But again, it was just Georgia State. How they fare against Virginia, another trap game this Saturday, remains to be seen. Auburn up to number 22. Big time win against Alabama State, would score 62 points. They're not going to drop 62 on Penn State. The Tigers will finally be tested when they face Penn State in Happy Valley for one of the top games of Week 3. BYU in the rankings at number 23 after taking down Utah. The Utes were number 21. BYU not only won that game, they won it convincingly, 26-17. Snapping a 9-game losing streak to their in-state rival. That was BYU's first win over Utah since 2009. So all the credit in the world to the Cougars, all the credit in the world to Kalani Sitake. Everybody thought they'd take a major step back. They're not right now. They're a top 25 team, and they can build on that, again, if they can beat Arizona State at home on Saturday. Miami in at number 24. They dropped 2 spots after barely surviving Appalachian State, only beat the Mountaineers 25-23 at home. And Miami's going to have to fix up a lot of things if they want to be taken seriously as a coastal contender. Still a top 25 team, but obviously got murdered against Alabama. Need a late, last-minute field goal to take down Appalachian State. Manny Diaz's squad still has a long ways to go. But still, number 24 in the country. Can't complain about being ranked in the top 25. And you can certainly say that's the case for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Rounding out our top 25 here, the AP top 25, the Wolverines defeated Washington 31-10. And yes, say what you want. Washington lost to Montana the week before, but beating a Washington team that we knew had a solid defense, we thought might bounce back in a big way. We thought Michigan would win that game. Did we think they'd win by 21? No. But winning a game like that convincingly on national television at home gives this Michigan team a lot of confidence, gives them a huge boost, was able to propel them into the top 25. Right now, the Wolverines are sitting pretty, and they have a very favorable first half of their schedule before things get tough midway / late October and into November. The Wolverines guys will continue to climb in these rankings. How they fare against tougher opponents, though, will make or break not just their season, but Jim Harbaugh's future in Ann Arbor. So there you have it, guys, your top 25 heading into Week 3. Again, we've got big-time matchups, Alabama and Florida, Auburn and Penn State, Arizona State, BYU, and plenty of trap games you want to watch out for, like Michigan State at Miami, Virginia at North Carolina, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Cincinnati, Indiana. So many big-time games coming your way in Week 3, where when we come and do this video next Monday for the Week 4 top 25, it's going to look drastically different. But again, that's what we like to see. We love chaos, we love changes in the polls, and that's what makes college football so great. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. Go sign up for those expert picks today so you don't miss out on any of our analysis for the rest of the year. Again, picks and analysis come out every single Wednesday over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. So go down there, help us, help you, sign up today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.